would not use their name when you were talking about this specific. You would use their name, but you wouldn't, because you use their name, we understand as the listener that this is a friend of yours or someone that is your friend. So you don't really need to use that.
今日は英語修理店のエピソードです。英語を勉強している日本人が英語の間違いを正してくれないかと尋ねました。これを実際の会話英語で行ってみます。
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Social English Podcast, and I am pumped up and I am so happy to join you today, and I'm so happy that you are able to join me here on the podcast. It sounded like I said show happy, but I meant to say so happy. Welcome back to this episode. We have today we're going to have another episode of our English Repair Shop episode, as you heard before from Sora. In these episodes, a Japanese listener asked if I can help with their English. Today we have a female, and she wants me to help her with her English. And yes, of course, as always, I said yes. Now remember, if you are a beginner, this episode is not for you. If you are an intermediate or advanced English learner, you can use this episode to understand some common mistakes when speaking English. So we're going to take someone who's learning English just like you are in Japan, and we're going to fix their mistakes, and then I'm going to, show you how that's done. So let's talk about that. We're going to correct this English from the Japanese person together today. And as with every single English Repair Shop episode, we have 4 parts. Part 1, I will read exactly what the Japanese person said in the wrong English. And in part 2, I will say the correct English in a conversational, social English style. So even though they made mistakes in written English, a lot of the times they are trying to speak this written English. So I'm going to use the social English, what I call the social English, the most common form of now, today, 2022 native English from an American person. I'm going to use that English as a response to their wrong English, or how to correct it in the right way. So stand by for that. Part 3, I will give you any hints that I think are important so that you can understand what these mistakes are, and you, my valued listeners that I love so much, you do not make these same mistakes. Okay? And in part 4, I will say the corrected English version in a fast, natural speed. This way you can also practice your listening skills. So let's get started with today's episode. Let's begin. So for the first part 1. 1. I went to the climbing gym today. 2. I climbed with Steve, who recently became a friend at the gym. 3. He is also studying Japanese, so we climbed together while talking in Japanese and English. 4. Climbing today was have fun and very helpful. Okay, so that's it. Maybe my listeners, maybe you are seeing some places, or you hear some places where you would change the words or the sentence or just the order. Think about that. And I want you to listen to it again. Listen to it again. And this time I'm going to say it I'm going to say it without the numbers, just the English parts only. Okay, please listen. Kite kudasai. Please listen carefully. I went to the climbing gym today. I climbed with Steve, who recently became a friend at the gym. He is also studying Japanese, so we climbed together while talking in Japanese and English. Climbing today was have fun and very helpful. Okay, so that's going to do it for the wrong. Okay, so now remember, that is the wrong English, the incorrect English from the Japanese person that's studying English. Okay, it's the wrong English that they wanted me to correct. And I said earlier in the podcast it was a she. I'm sorry, that's a mistake. This is a he. This is a man, a guy, a he. Okay, a boy. So a male person. So let's move on to part 2, social English. Okay, the correct English version in a slow speed. Okay, so let's get going. Numbered sentences. Okay, please listen. Here are the sentences by numbers. Okay, there are going to be 4. So there are 4 sentences in the correct version. 1. I went to the gym to do some sport climbing today. 2. I climbed with Steve, who I recently met at the gym. 3. Since he is also studying Japanese, we spoke both Japanese and English to each other while climbing. 4. I had a lot of fun today climbing at the gym. Okay, so now you see, you can understand, you hear some of the changes that I made. You hear the changes that I made. So let me say it one more time. I will repeat this. Just the English only. Okay, no numbered sentences, just everything together in a slow English speed. Please listen. I went to the gym to do some climbing today. I climbed with Steve, who I recently met at the gym. Since he is also studying Japanese, we spoke both Japanese and English to each other while climbing. I had a lot of fun today climbing at the gym. Okay, so that is the slow version, okay, the slow English version with just the English parts only. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Okay, part 3. In part 3, I'm going to give you my hints, okay? These are the hints, and this is just tips, advice, help, hints that we're going to talk about. I have 2 hints for my listeners today, okay? I have 2 hints for you today. The first hint is let's just use who I recently met, okay? This tells us in a conversation with someone that you are friends because you are doing something together. In this situation today, you are climbing together. So, in conversational social English, we would not explain that we were friends because it's inferred. So meaning we can understand that when you go climbing, you don't go climbing together with a complete stranger, especially someone that you know their name. If you know their name, Steve, Aoki, Koda, Nana, Nezumi, whatever their name is, you would not use their name when you were talking about this specific. Well, you would use their name, but you wouldn't, because you use their name, we understand as the listener that this is a friend of yours or someone that is your friend. So you don't really need to use that. Okay. Yeah, so let's go to the second one. The second advice or piece of advice or hint I want to give you today is in the second sentence. The second sentence is correct, but in the example that I used, I call it the corrected social English version. I want to give you an explanation of why I changed it. I wanted to put the action, the action word, the verb, climbing. Okay, in spoken English, there's a lot of things that we do, especially in social English. But I wanted to put climbing at the end of the sentence, just to give you, my listeners, another optional way, another way how to say this information, so that your listener understands that you were speaking to each other using two different languages in the act of climbing. So it's just another way how to say the exact same thing. Okay, now welcome to part 4. Part 4, we're going to go get into the natural fast speed. Okay, so I'm going to say the corrected social English version, but of course I'm going to say it in a faster speed, a more natural, common speed that you would hear. That this way you can start to practice listening to a English by a native speaker, and you could start to understand words clearly and understand what they're saying. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use no numbers. I'm just going to get into it. So let's get into it. Please listen, kite kudasai. Please listen carefully. I went to the gym to do some climbing today. I climbed with Steve, who I recently met at the gym. Since he's also studying Japanese, we spoke both Japanese and English to each other while climbing. I had a lot of fun today climbing at the gym. I went to the gym today to do some sport climbing. I climbed with Steve, who I recently met at the gym. Since he is also studying Japanese, we spoke both Japanese and English to each other while climbing. I had a lot of fun today climbing at the gym.
この章を気に入っていただけたら、5つ星のレビューをぜひお願いします。コメントは英語か日本語でお書きいただければ喜んで読ませていただきます。リアルソーシャルイングリッシュ .com にアクセスしてぜひ無料でダウンロードしてください。ほとんどの日本人の英語を勉強している人がやってしまいがちな7つの間違いとその正しい言い方。また、毎日英語を上達させるのに役立つ資料もたくさんあります。Apple Podcast、Google Podcast、Stitcher、そして今はパンドラでもポッドキャストを購読いただきます。支援者になっていただけませんか？私たちがこのショーを作るための支援として$5の寄付をお願いできませんか？今後のエピソードで感謝の気持ちをお伝えします。また、そこでしか利用できない新しいコンテンツも入手できます。patreon.com/socialenglish からご参加ください。ソーシャルメディアで私たちのポッドキャストを友達にシェアしたり、Twitter、Facebook、Instagram のフォローをお願いします。
And there you have it, my awesome listeners. That is the corrected English of a Japanese person that is studying English. I hope that you learn from that, everyone out there. Today, please take something from this and use that in your journey of understanding and getting better at English. Today, what I want you to do after this episode, my action item for you today is to make your own story using this sentence. I blank with blank who I met at blank. So I, action word, verb with blank who I met at blank. Okay, here's an example. I played volleyball with Risa, who I met at the beach. Okay, so that's an example. I want you to try using that sentence. It's a simple sentence, but it's for you intermediate learners. It's a good way for you to use that. The same sentence structure. Okay, it's for you to add a couple of twists and turns, add some new words to that. Those three there that I left out. Okay, so use an action word, a verb, a name of someone, even a famous person, and then also a location where you met them, of the gym, the beach, basketball court, swimming pool, store, restaurant, bar, club, music festival, anything, okay? Concert, whatever. So I want you to try to use that because it's going to come in handy when you have conversations and you want to talk to other people. So I want you to practice that today. That is going to be your action item for you to do after this episode, okay? But, I want you to try to speak this sentence with a Japanese friend that does speak English. Okay, so your action item sentence that you create or sentences, try to use that with a person who speaks English, or if you're lucky and have a native English speaking friend like today's listener, then practice that with them. Okay, don't forget to listen to episode 126 through 131 about the beginnings of conversations, okay, in the West, okay, in English, the beginnings of conversation, what the components, like the Lego blocks of the conversations. I call it the IIWC pattern, but those Lego blocks, like understanding what those Lego blocks are in conversations, which you probably, I'm sure you did not learn. They didn't teach you because this is a more of a social English conversational method that I want to share with you to help you get better. Okay. And if once you go through 126 through 131, I guarantee you will really enjoy that episode. Okay. Especially for you advanced English learners and intermediate, but go through it and you will enjoy it. Now, if you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe and follow us. Also, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. The reason I'm asking you for the 5-star review or the review in general is because I want to make this podcast better and better and better, because I truly want to help you out. I want to help you get better at understanding spoken English, and I do have my reasons. If you don't remember those, or if you're new, please listen to episode 1. You'll understand some of the things that I went through meeting Japanese people in America while I was going through college, and just meeting people here as I moved to Japan, and just some of the things they struggle with that I want to help you with, my listeners, and I want to help as many people as possible. Please share. Post this on your social media. Post it on Mixi. Post it on your Twitter. Post my link on your Instagram, on your Facebook, on your TikTok. Okay, post my links and get as many people as you can to listen to this podcast, so I can help them understand as well as help you. Okay, I really would appreciate that. I really do. I'm really appreciate and I really value all of you guys out there listening to me. Okay. We're growing. This is a growing podcast, getting bigger and bigger every week. So I really appreciate the support. Okay. So please leave that 5-star review, subscribe and follow to us on Apple Podcasts, and YouTube channel coming soon. Okay. So you'll get the YouTube channel later on this. Well, I can't say when. I'll just say the YouTube channel is coming soon. Don't miss out. There's going to be a lot of awesome things. We're going to have a lot more stuff there. Also, one more thing before I get to that, just throw that little YouTube out there for you so you'll know it's coming. There is still the 5,000 yen monthly sweepstakes. So the monthly prize, we're doing a contest every month. This month, all you have to do is you have to follow us on Instagram. You have to subscribe to the podcast, or follow the podcast, subscribe, and you have to leave a 5-star review. You have to do those 3 things. Do those three things, and I will automatically enter you into the sweepstakes. Okay, so follow us there, and I'm going to announce the winner on Instagram. Okay, the winner will be on Instagram, and you will get a 5,000 yen digital Amazon gift card sent to you directly. Okay, so don't forget to do those things. Tell your friends they can enter, and that's pretty much it for today's episode. Okay, so I'll see you in the next episode. Peace and love. It was great talking to you, and I'm out of here. See ya.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.